Welcome back, soldiers, strategists, and tabletop tacticians. You've tuned in to Dice Hoses, your frontline source of all things bolt action. We're your hosts. I'm Craig Bodycoat, and this is Derek Gibson. With the usual crowd, who are amateur hobbyists, historians, and tournament organisers reporting in from the heart of Southern Ontario, we have Evan Gotti, Sean Murray, and Matthew Stewart, not Stewart. It's a brand new season and we're storming back into action with fresh missions, deep dives and hard-hitting hobby content. From Normandy hedgerows to Stalingrad ruins, we'll be exploring new armies, historical tactics and behind-the-scenes insights from the bolt action community across Canada and beyond. This season we're bringing you more interviews with key figures in the hobby, painting and list building tips, campaign breakdowns and coverage of the events shaking up the battlefield. Whether you're a veteran commander or fresh out of basic, there's something here for you. So lock and load, dial in your range, and get ready to roll those order dice, because Dice Hoses Season 4 is here, and the wargaming world won't know what hit it.
Thanks, Craig, for that awesome intro that we pre-recorded, because we can't trust these guys not to laugh while you're doing it.
I will laugh so hard.
I try.
All right, guys. New season, episode 1 of season 4, as you heard Craig talking about us. We're going to talk in this show about the tournament scene in Canada. We got Bolt Action, SOBA Circuit, Canadian Nationals, Foxholes and Firefights. We're going to update our calendar with you, let you know what's up and coming. And this episode, we're going to talk about those things as well as what we're doing with our hobby plans and what's coming up. So let's take this off with talking about Bolt Action Canada. So it's a little pet project that Craig's trying to get going, and we'll have him talk to you about it right now.
All right, thanks, Dave. We've got at the moment I started the Bolt Action Canada Facebook page. It's pretty easy. You just create a page and then invite everyone. That's right. It's like build it and they will come.
Feel the dreams.
So we did that, but ultimately the goal is to try and unite the conversation, the Bolt Action community across Canada. Get the various communities together, or at least have some members who want to see a bigger picture of that cross feed between the different Facebook groups. I think there's about 8 that I know of Facebook groups for Bolt Action in Canada.
There's probably far more Ontario alone.
Yeah, so which is great. It's a great for the local communities and stuff, and we'd love to see more. But I thought it was important for us to try and have a national group that is, in some way, at this point, at this stage, is to say, hey, hello, how are you, and what are you doing? Right, that's kind of the thing. So, it's been growing. It's good. You know, there's quite a few people on there, and there's been a few requests to try and build a team for World Open War and such. So hopefully, it didn't work out this year for them to go for various reasons, but hopefully we'll see a team go out in the next year or so. So that was just a great start from there. And then the other thing
how are you finding the age group for Facebook? Because usually people are saying, Facebook's for the 40 plus now, and the 20s and 30s aren't using it. Or are they still using it for events like this where they're a wide spread of ages?
No, I would say that to your point is the majority. It's the older crowd. Not necessarily say older. I mean older being late 20s and upwards. So that's kind of the users. I think at some point it would be great to get on, I would say Instagram, but I don't know how current that is. I suppose when you get older, you sort of care less about what's happening. But the next project I'd like to do is to try and get a Bolt Action Facebook page going for tournament organizers. So in Canada, so they can be sharing ideas, kind of maybe discuss rules and have house rules that are maybe slightly aligned, or there's consensus. and also the opportunity to ask people what they're doing and how they're doing it and what their experience is. So hoping to get that up in the next few weeks and go from there.
Oh, that's awesome. And moving on to the SOBA circuit, you've got some updates for us.
Yeah, we are coming towards the end of the season, our first season of the South Ontario Bolt Action Circuit. It's been really well received, far exceeded by expectations of what was happening. I think we had about 8 stores participating. I'll put together some numbers by the end of for the end of the season, which is September. But yeah, some 8 stores, some 14, 15 tournaments on the circuit. So that's been really well received. There's the current standings. I'm just going to read the top 5 for each one for the main primary standings and then the hobby community standings. But so for the main standings, this is overall how people performed at the tournaments. You've got in 5th place Robert Schuring from Oshawa. Then 4th place is our very own Sean Murray. So yeah, well done. So there, Andrew Buchan from the Ottawa area. Daniel Kratzer is from Toronto, but he's headed back to Germany. So there is opportunity for people to maybe catch up. But he is 13 points ahead of 3rd place Andrew. And then 3 points ahead of Daniel is Tony Yu, who is a really good player on the circuit, taken a few titles. So, and he's currently the Canadian champion. For the Canadian tabletop champion. So he is definitely deserves to be quite rightly up there.
So he's not just my nemesis; he's everybody's nemesis.
It's everybody's nemesis. And then for the hobby community standings, this is more about: did you win any awards? Are you organising tournaments? Are you going to different tournaments? So you get points for attending 3 tournaments, 6 tournaments, 9 tournaments. There's quite a few. There's a handful of players who actually have attended 6 tournaments. Nobody as of yet has reached the 9 number, but there are a couple of people who are pretty close on that. So the top 5 for that is basically Kevin Nagy. He was from Oshawa. He is out east somewhere, serving his time in the Canadian Armed Forces. Andrew Buchan again. Paul Saunders above him. Tony Yu. Oh, yeah. Robert Schuring. And then top place is our own Sean Murray, who's been out and about and playing in lots of the tournaments. So far, Sean is representing Dice Hosers out there.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't care about coming in first against all those other people. I just want to be ahead of you guys.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Well, it has been hard to do with me this year. That's for damn sure.
Well, although Sean, I am in the primary. I am only 7 points behind you. So
Come get them.
But
trying to.
You'll pip him because he's not going to get any points for foxholes and firefights.
That is right. You'll crush me on that one.
Yeah.
You'll get loads of points.
And just some stats so far. So we've had 11 tournaments so far on the SOBA circuit.
Oh, so with 2 more this
day, up till end of July, there's been 11.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
and we've got 2 more scheduled right before the end of the season, with foxholes and firefights and Operation Ironclad.
There's that. There's the 3rd one that popped up, the Ironclad one in Hamilton, which we'll come to in the calendar later.
What's the other one then?
The doubles.
Foxholes and firefights, Operation Ironclad. What's the 3rd one?
Wouldn't the doubles in St. Catherine's?
That's next season.
Oh, is that next season? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm getting my seasons confused. See, it's like streaming. You're like, so confusing. What's this week by week rubbish?
Yeah, so that's it. That's the 2nd season. That's the 25-26 season. So, which looks like it's going to be bigger. We're trying to get actually maybe 1 or 2 stores in Montreal involved, which would be great to see that out there. So, but yeah, so Soap Circuit, so far so good. Trying to push it, seeing it grow, seeing players from across Ontario, and we've seen it from Ottawa all the way over to London. It's been a great response and exceeded my expectations for how it was going. So it's been great.
That's awesome. Nice to see this maybe grow with the Canadian Facebook page and having it SOBA turn into CBA, Canadian Bolt Action.
Yeah, right.
Uh, so this is where I get to admit to everybody I made a complete hash of the first recording of our podcast or filming of our podcast, depending on how you look at it or how you watch this. So we're going to go into the Canadian Nationals. This is pre-recorded because it's the only thing I could say from the previous recording, which means that this is the second take, or the first take that you will hear, second take of the podcast, third take of the introduction. Just want to throw Craig under the bus there. It wasn't me that screwed everything up. Just me, anyways.
You mean it wasn't only just you?
It wasn't only just me. So we're going to cut out to Sean, and I'm going to say...
Indeed. That is right. So I went to Ottawa. I first we'll get the non-bolt action stuff out of the way because going to Ottawa is fun. I took a train to enjoy the experience. I highly recommend it if you can swing it, which you can do with bolt action because everything fit quite nicely into a little case. Saw the Parliament buildings. I went through the Military Museum. The hotel choice that I took was about a 20-minute walk from the event, which was fine. There were many pubs along the way. I stopped at most of them, all of them. And then the event itself was being held at the Rideau Curling Club. Now, I saw you guys were talking with Paul just before this, so they're moving that now, I believe, to a new venue. It's in Nepean, is it? I saw on... Yeah, so it'll be a much bigger place next time. This location was nice. Parking was atrocious, but the location itself was right next to Chinatown, and it was surrounded by small, little, really good restaurants. So there was lots of interesting places to go. Let's get into the review of the event itself here. All right. So I brought my list was the Italians. So I brought Italians to this one. I brought Italians because I haven't played them yet this year, and I missed them. So it was a little different, a little more competitive than what I normally take. In that I took an engineering platoon. So I took my normal infantry platoon with the 2 paratroopers and 2 black shirts. Black shirts are just 5 men with LMGs, and the paratroopers are SMGs. And I gave them each a Panzerfaust, not to kill tanks as much to keep the tanks away from me. Because once you've got a veteran squad with a Panzerfaust hunkered down in the middle of the table, it's easy to make a little bubble. And my anti-tank outside of that, it was an armored platoon with a light anti-tank gun on a medium tank with 4 MMGs. The only DACA tank left, and it's Stug. It's Semovente with a medium anti-tank. So and I had an anti-tank rifle, but I would use that to put a pin on armor, which came in really handy in my first game, but not much else. It was just good for pins. And then the balance was just a howitzer. I didn't take mortar or MMG this time. Couldn't really fit it. I did take a foo because one of the Italians' rules is a reroll on the table, which is really handy. You can usually get it off when you want to get it off. So that was my list, and I brought it up against the 5 games of fun. My first was against Andrew. I'm going to have this all in an article on the page it'll be up next week. So by the time you see this podcast, it'll already be on the Dice Hosers page.
That's what she says.
Andrew McDonald, my first game. He was playing some Germans. Andrew was a newer player. He brought himself a Tiger and a Puma, and some veteran infantry and some inexperienced backline holders. Now, he wasn't a Tiger Ace, which would have made a huge difference in this game. He spent 3 turns shooting at my Stug. So on the right side, we were both light. We were strong on my left side of the table. We were strong. So my infantry was spread out. His was really concentrated center right of him. So on my left side. So I was able to hold back his push with my infantry and my howitzer over there. And on the right, I set up my Stug to try and clear a path to give my paratroopers a chance to sneak their way across the table. We were on a railway table, so it was lots of cars and things you could run between to get to the other side. The game was demolition, long table edges, prepared positions. So I set up my Stug, and no sooner do I get my Stug shooting at his with a line at his Puma. I was trusting on hard cover to maybe help. Then his Puma zips around, and now I've got them both shooting at me for 3 turns. In 3 turns, he rolls a 1, a 2, a 2, a 2, a 2. By the time that 5th die roll came by and he missed, I had now blown up his Puma, and I pinned out his Tiger. So on turn 4, his Tiger fails, goes back 4.5 inches. He was 5 inches from the table edge, so he just escaped. He just saved himself from running off the table. But now he was far enough away from the objective, and his luck being what it is, my pairs walked up to the objective, made their first roll to demolish it, and I won that game because he refused to blow up my tank. So
that was the howitzer. How have you found that? I know that was your first game, but how do you find the howitzer compared to a mortar?
So
why did you opt for
that? For the direct fire.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about ranging in if you've got a shot, and there's a lot of transports out there now. So it's a good thing to have just to shoot. Even if you put it in ambush with HE direct fire, that transport still has to consider if it wants to chance that shot. So between that and my anti-tank gun, I've got coverage from the clown cars coming up filled with flamethrowers, of which I did bring 1. So my engineering platoon that I brought was 5 rifles, and the other one was 3 rifles and 2 flamethrowers, because the Italians can take 2 with the platoon commander. So I always had an armored transport, the Auto Preto, with 2 flamethrowers in it as my sort of. I use it as a counterpunch. I'd always assault with the Ferris, running them up, tempting him to draw their fire, and then I'd counter punch whoever I was playing with my engineers. Second game was against Italians. The man who's right behind me in the standings by 1 point, telling me I won't be in 4th for long, Robert Scherin. His Italians, we were playing seize ground, so we're playing quarters, prepared positions, quarters, and we're playing seize ground, so you want to get into each quarter, where the opponent's quarter is worth more points than the neutral quarters. So we set up and we dance. Now his list is all like little tanks. He's got 2 tankettes. He's got 2 another light tank, and then he's got 2 of these auto perennies, which are it's all light tanks. He's got all these light tanks flying all over the place. Many auto cannons all over the place. So basically he set up a sort of a screen across the middle, where he would redirect his light tanks to whatever side it looked like I was going to push on, and he's always trying to score a killing blow. So I held my armor back center, trying to pick a side that they'd be most effective on. So I kind of held them center, and then I just started probing on either side to try and spread them out. And we danced like that right till the end. But when it got to the last turn, I just threw my engineering squad forward in their transport, and I had another platoon there, and my light tank rushed up the middle, and everybody just barged over that middle corner into his zone. It was just good timing on my part that I was able to claim that high point end zone of his. And he wasn't able to get anybody into mine, and the dances on the side were really inconsequential at that point once you're in the other zone. So second turn, I managed to get the win just by that, kind of being sneaky. And it was an interesting table too. It was a jungle table, so it was all just patches of dense forests all over. So lots of dancing.
Robert's a good player as well. So,
Yes, yeah. And he plays Italian, so he's a man of class and quality.
Did you do lots of like hand waving and scoozies?
Hey, Scusi, I'm playing here. Yeah. All right. Another local player for my third game. This was Colin. He brought Soviets, and he came to play with tanks. So Colin had a KV-1 with a flamethrower, a T-60, a T-34-85, and an M3. And then it was 2 veteran tank rider units, and a company commander and a platoon commander. He had 9 dice. So this event was limited to 18 dice, which I really liked because you were getting your games done. And they also limited you to no more than 2 of anything except for, like infantry or medic, or like an infantry squad or a medic or the normal stuff. So unless you really want to bring a lot of bazookas, it didn't really affect you. And I wasn't playing American, so I didn't find out if there was also a bazooka exception. But so people couldn't just bring 5 of one tank, kind of, or 4 of one tank, and they limited it to 2 of any multi-rocket launcher at all. So any type of multi-rocket launcher, you could have max 2 of those. So he brought 9 dice with heavy tanks, and he had some success because we were both undefeated going into game 3. But unfortunately for him, key positions, 7 objectives.
Oh.
So I spread out, and he spent 6 turns trying to kill me, but I got 5 of the objectives. So I did kill a few of his things. Those tank riders with body armor that only die on 6s, those are tough nuts to crack. So I spent a lot of time shooting at them, hiding, running around in circles. But again, I managed to get the victory here just by getting a good luck on the draw. All right, that was the end of Saturday. Then Sunday morning brought us to game 4. Priority target, meeting engagement. So we're walking on the table in quarters. Now I was up against probably the best player I've ever played against. His name was Alan Tibet. He brought Germans. He had a WTC shirt on.
Oh. So it's from
Yeah.
WTC Team 2. Yeah.
He had a very tight, solid list. It was Germans. It was all mechanized, so it was everybody was in half tracks. He had auto cannons. He had half tracks with he had the flak drilling half track and some light tanks and lots of recce. So he was very mobile, and he just I just kept seeing his flawless positioning and his flawless moves, and I keep making I'd make one mistake here, one mistake there, and I couldn't get anything edgewise on him. So it was even. I mean, he had 4 flamethrowers, but that wasn't really a problem. My problem was I got surrounded and got too static in this mission, and he was able to, get the right spot, probe for a weak spot, and concentrate on that weak spot by just getting all his forces into a beautiful concentration of fire. So I tried moving to the center on this one. I tried to avoid being outflanked, but I did not stand a chance in this mission after about turn 2. I just couldn't see a way out of it. But I had a great game, and I really enjoyed playing him because it was just great to see, what the next level looks like when it comes to playing this game. And he gave everybody a choice of pictures. Oh, I got mine right here. So everybody he played got to pick from his pile of pictures. Here, I picked this one. This is my. I don't know if you can see it very well. I picked that picture off his stack of pictures to bring home and set up. So that was a great game. Which brings us to the last game. So now turns out, so I was playing Scott Roach. He brought Australians. We were playing for fourth, basically, because there was nobody went 5-0. So it was a bunch of people playing for 4-1 now. So whichever one of us would win would be the other 4-1. So that would bring you into the four people who went 4-1. But I'd already seen in the standings I wasn't lethal enough compared to Tony and the others, Daniel. They just were racking up the kill counts. And this tournament scored. The tiebreaker was how many things you killed.
Right.
So I was just not killing enough. I wasn't taking enough dice off the table of the people I played who had the dice. So I wasn't going to make it to first, but I would have made fourth if I managed to beat Scott. And this game came down to the last round. This one was Fog of War Quarters. For those of you who've never played Fog of War because you're too scared or you're the tournaments just don't want to run it for you, it is. You come on any quarter. And there's a little thing I noticed. I played it once or twice before that I did wrong. I thought it was when you came on a quarter, that was your quarter for the rest of that turn. Yeah. No. So in this tournament, it was if you come on a quarter, the next person who comes on that isn't you can't come on. If you come on a side, the next person who isn't you can't come on the same side. All the other sides are available. So you don't claim it. You only claim a side, but if you change where you come in, that side's open again. So it just stops people from coming in behind you. So that was a little different. But again, it was another fight in the middle of the table for this one. And we just were fighting it out. So this is the one with 3 objectives, right? There's one in the one center middle, one right center, and one left center. And so we each had one, and we were just basically fighting over the middle. But it came down to the last turn, and he managed to do a good push, sort of like what I did the day before, but this time it was him pushing, and he pushed onto that objective and got it. I made one mistake when I drove up and I got out, and I was choosing. I had 3 targets. And I went the wrong way. Had I gone the other way for a different target and left, because I had another unit off to the right that could have cleaned up the guy that I was going for. Had I done that, I think that would have been my game. But yeah, live and learn. I'll know better next time. And that brought us to the end of the tournament. The won by Tony Yu, his Soviets. He won the whole tournament. Did a very good job. Best painted went to Jonathan Michner. His Germans. You've seen it here in Burlington with the trenches and that all nicely painted up. And I learned a couple. I'm always learning something when I play. You don't use penetration modifiers versus soft skins. I did not know that.
Yeah. Just straight 6, right?
Yeah, it's just a 6. Doesn't matter what your plus is.
Yeah.
When you're indirect. Sorry. When you're indirect.
So where did you come then, Sean?
That dropped me to 11th, from 4th to 11th, because now I was in the 3-1s, and again, I just didn't have the kill counts.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you walk away with an award?
I did, actually. That's the best overall at Case Yellow. Here it is. Yep, this is here's the best minor nation. I got this for being the best Italian player. So that's nice. Yeah. Well, no, I won that from Robert when I did my craftiness in the middle of the table, didn't I? The other Italian player had the nice Italian dice. I really got to get my hands on those. So yeah.
So how was your overall experience then?
Overall, it's colored by the fact that I often don't get 5 hours to do nothing but read, and I got to do that on the way there and back again by taking the train. So it's colored by that, because that's just an amazing time if you can do that, and you normally can't. But my time there was a blast. I enjoyed Ottawa. I enjoyed all the people I played. The tournament was great. The people were great. The venue was great. I won the door prize. So I got a whole bunch of stuff from the organizers of the tournament themselves, of the event. Some brushes and some paints and some neat little books and stuff, and a box of minis, and so that was pretty good. But for the Bolt Action tournament, I really liked the format. I was happy with the restrictions. The low dice count of 18 I thought was perfect for just making sure the games got in. I didn't find it restricted my list at all. And all the lists were really, really competitive. Autocannons and flamethrowers are everywhere, so we'll see when the next few books come out what happens with that. If more anti-tank does something, or more things that can go into ambush does something to mitigate that, but they are in your list if you want to place in the top at any of these events right now.
Are you going to go back next year?
Yeah, that's the plan. I'm going to. It's at a new venue, but I think I'm going to go back next year, play again. Maybe if I might, instead of getting a hotel, I might see if John and Colin and them are going. They want to do an Airbnb together. And since it's outside of town, it would be harder to take the train. Not impossible, but it'd be a bit further from the train station now. But we'll see. It's closer to the airport, but I don't want to fly.
Welcome back. We're back from that cut. Everybody saw the cut. Sean did an excellent job of explaining and telling us what was happening at the Canadian Nationals, how it went, and it sounded most like everybody should make a huge effort to try and get out there next year. Which brings us to our own local event that's coming up again, Foxholes and Firefights, excuse me. So, Craig, Evan, can you run us over this tournament?
Yeah, so I'll just start the intro. So it's a 2-day tournament, 5 games, but we're trying something different. So we're going to do it as teams of 3. So you either Axis or Allies, and a lot of people have been getting mates together and buying tickets as a team. There's going to be overall team scoring, should I say? And yeah, we're hoping to make it quite a fun event with not too obviously as serious as a tournament can get, but try and do something else like a food drive or something like that. But that'll be announced closer to the time. So what we decide to do and how we decide to do it.
Yeah. So as of today, tickets are available. We've already sold out of the Allied teams. There's 2 Axis teams left available as of recording today. So I would get in there. I already know of a few possible people that are trying to arrange teams. So if you're interested, get in as soon as possible. If there's a waiting list, we will look to open up an extra spot for Allied and Axis teams.
But it is hard because you're looking at 3 more tables, 6 more team players. It's not like as easy as it would be for a normal tournament to just open up another couple of tables.
Yeah, so it was going with a 3-man team was a bit of a risk. There's a bigger demand for you to have to organize and get the team. It's one thing if your player drops out because they're ill, but if you've got a 3-man team, you really need to make sure you've got a backup for one of your team members. So we'll see, but it's the only 3-man team event. There's a really good, phenomenal, actually, 2-man team event, which is incoming, which we just touched on, which Sean will discuss in the calendar later. But this is the only 3-man team. This is the one of 2 2-day events for Bolt Action in Canada. So it's the 5 games, 1,200 points a player. What's cool about this is that you play as a team rather than just as Evan was saying. You play as a team. So you get points by not only how you as an individual, but it's how your team scores. So if your team wins 2 games, 2 of your players win and 1 loses, you still take the points for the team. Just as much as if 2 of your players lose and 1 wins, you lose. So,
Will there be any strategy in how to decide who plays what table or what's thing?
yes, so there's going to be basically a roll-off. There's team captains, and the captains roll off, and the winner decides who gets to place first. So the player that decides or gets chosen to go first chooses a table and chooses an army. So they place it. Then their opponent captain gets to choose of one of their 3 armies and chooses an army and places it against that army, and then it jumps back to and then you just keep repeating it until all the tables have been done. So there is some strategy as to what table you're on and what army you're going to face. So there's an element of who plays what good player, what's your strategy. You can't lose. You might go into this thinking, okay, how are we going to play this game? And it could be, I'm going to put you on the table against their best player, knowing that none of us can beat them, but don't lose so badly, right? Or it could be, there's a lot. There's a lot of terrain on this table, on this third table of the 3, and so you've got an army with fieldcraft, and I'm going to place it on there so that you can go after the objective. So there is strategy. The tournament pack's already available now, so you can already start figuring out lists and how they'll play in those scenarios. You just don't know what the tables you're going to play on. You don't know what armies you're playing against, and there is a mini in-game strategy of selecting your opponent.
So you don't necessarily want 3 guys to just show up with whatever 3 armies. You want to put some thoughts, maybe an armored heavy, an infantry heavy, a mixed, just so you can cover those different variables. And maybe put the question to your opponent if they didn't march up with, how do I deal with an armored heavy or an infantry heavy? So
yeah, I think we'll see more depth to it next year.
Yeah.
Next
Once
season,
everybody gets
because
to practice.
then people will have more time and they'll be like, how do I play this and such. But yeah, I think that it's there's a fun little mini in game to play before, and there's time to plot. Right, there's 15 minutes of planning this. That's not game time, so you do have time to plan this. And this is the good thing about playing over 2 days, is that you have more time than when you try to fit it into 3 games in 1 day. So yeah, so that's it. And we've got a Dice Hosers team that's entering. Sean and Derek, you're both on that, right?
Yep.
With Matt.
And missing Matt.
Yeah, Matt's not here at the moment, but
What's the date of this again?
27th and 28th of September.
That's what I thought. I wasn't sure. If
Which
you
is the
mentioned it.
it's also really the
culmination,
grand finale of the season of the Sober Circuit, and the awards are handed out to the winners for at this event as well. So it's a roundup and really a kickoff for the next season.
So there's 2 award ceremonies, basically. One for the end of Soba Circuit and one for those that played in Foxholes and Firefights.
Yes, yeah.
And then on the Dice Hosers website, we've got the there's a section on the top. You'll see the top banner. There's a section for the Foxholes and Firefights with more information, team composition, dates, etc., as well as a link to the players pack.
Yeah. And one of the things we're trying to do is CTC is really more your competitive focus, especially for a singles, but it's more your competitive driven. Foxholes and Firefights, by the nature of being a tournament, of course, has a competitive element, but a large part of your scoring is also based on sportsmanship, painting, and theme. So this year is just an open theme, but if you turn up and had your individual armies had themes, you'll get points. But in the future years, we'll be saying maybe next year, okay, we're going to do early war, for example. You don't have to bring an early war army, but if your team is early war themed, then you'll get bonus points. So there's that kind of thing. And then to Evan's point, there's also a few fun things that we're throwing in, like food drive reroll and stuff like that. So there's a few little fun things that we're doing.
And this
so
is
yeah,
a yearly
it's going to
thing,
be
so people can plan like 6 months out. Hey, we think we're going to do this, and start to put armies together once they understand how this format works after this year. So it's going to be a yearly thing. You can start to see the themes coming.
Yeah, and I want to be able to put the tournament pack out about 6 months before the event, so people have plenty of time to paint and build up and plot and plan and such. The shenanigan plans and things. So yeah, I think that I think this will be a good event, and hope that it will grow into a great event that becomes a fixture, the annual fixture for players.
Feature.
A feature event, I like that. Yeah. And actually, at some point as well, would like to see some Americans come up and get their asses kicked by us. But for now, it looks like it's an all Canadian affair.
Yeah. Throwing that out there, Dave, if you're listening.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Event. It feels a lot shorter because we did that one segment already. Event calendar. Sean, what do we have aside of foxholes and firefights? But and I know it's on the calendar. But what else is coming up?
Yeah, we've pretty much gone through the calendar now. I'll just summarize everything we've said is coming up. The first being the Saturday, the 9th at Tista. We're going to be there playing 1,100 points, 18 order dice. I'm a fan of the lower capped order dice because I like to get my game finished, and I find if there's too much dice floating around, the games have a hard time fitting in. So this one is it's a great location, Tista, great little store. It's going to be a fun day for that one. Then the next will be starting. Actually, so this is starting July 31st. This is the Sword and Boards Escalation League. Great casual way to play the game. I sign up for escalation leagues for all sorts of games just so I can keep my fingers in the game. I'm playing an Age of Sigmar. I'm not there to compete or do well, but I'm there just to have fun playing and have a good time. And I like escalation leagues for that. So this one's Sword and Board. So anybody within a decent range of Toronto can sign up for this one. It's going to be 10 weeks, 5 rounds. So every 2 weeks you have to get a game in. And it comes with, they're doing the booklet thing that we saw before in our own, where you get a little book and it has everything in there for what you're doing each week and what to do and for tracking purposes. It's a great idea. So that'll be good. Then we go all the way to September 22nd, which is Elizabeth Simcoe's birthday. She was born in 1762. So, of course, she, the wife of John Graves Simcoe, and a bit of an artist, and that famous diary for all her trips. So if you want to know what region was like back then, all you have to do is look at her diaries. And I know you recognize the date, September 22nd. Yes, indeed, Tolkien did pick that day for Frodo and Bilbo's birthday because that was her birthday, and she was always such a good artist, and she wrote that diary that I believe that's the reason he picked September 22nd for Frodo and Bilbo's birthday. But then the next event is September 27th and 28th. This is our event, our Foxholes and Firefights we just talked to all about. So if you go to Torchlight's page and see it there, there's a player's pack. All that complicated 3-player team stuff is all there. And it's a little intimidating, but it's unique, and it brings a little certain fun angle to it, and it gives you a team spirit when you get together. Maybe you don't know the guys, maybe you're just meeting them at the event, or grab two buddies and you sign up. I think I think it'll be fun. It's a little different, but don't be intimidated by what you think is complexity. It'll be a fun day. And the last thing on the calendar is October 18th. This is the Mecca doubles tournament. There's not a lot of details out about this. Mecca's St. Catherine's Way. It's a great little store, and they got a nice little bolt action crew there. They play every other. So looking forward to this little doubles tournament. It'll be. I don't remember the last. I don't remember the last doubles we went to. I think it was Oshawa last doubles that we had around here, but maybe it was London. It was Oshawa. But yeah, so not a lot of details out yet for October 18th, but that one's going to come quick.
You mean the doubles at Mecca we played in last year, you and I as a team?
Was that the last one? I thought there was one outside of, like, further away too. Yeah. Well, anyways, doubles is great.
That one. That's the last year's one is the last one I can remember.
What usually happens is you get your little infantry place tanks. They get all shot up, and then it's just your little infantry guys running around. That's usually how these.
Oh, so it's actual, not like foxholes. It's actual double. Two guys on a table playing two guys on the same table. Four guys on the table. Okay.
Last time it was 700 points a player, if I remember correctly. So it was combined of 1,400 on per side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will forever remember the opponent we played in our last game. His two Italian artillery pieces couldn't hit anything, and he threatened to throw one in the furnace. He was getting. I can't remember the guy's name. Hell of a nice guy, but yeah, it was. Shame. Felt bad.
Definitely didn't play Sean's Italians. All right.
I got a new army coming for foxholes. I'm making some Brits.
Nice. Yeah. Cat's out of the bag. We are making Brits. So hobby time. Sean, you're always doing something interesting outside of bolt action with all the fun times extra time you have. What is your hobby plate today?
Well, while I was sitting here, I was just putting together. I'm finally getting the second box of Ewoks together for Shatterpoint. They're not the best Shatterpoint list, but I just want to play all Ewoks. So once I get these guys together and painted, I can. But the ships are almost done for French for Black Sails, and then the Revolution box still hasn't shown up. Once it does, that'll be my priority. Well, that and making my first British list in time for foxholes and firefights. I have 0 British right now, so once that order comes in, I'll get started.
Nice. Evan, what are you working on?
Painting Lord of the Rings, and then I've got some ships as well. Sean and I have been playing it quite a lot. I've got some ships I still need to do the rigging and the sails on.
Nice.
Which I need to be in the right headspace to do that, because it's a little bit...
Little tweezers and a little thread.
Man.
Yes.
Yeah.
And magnifying glass. Thread, tweezers, magnifying glass, need a third hand.
I bought reverse tweezers, so they grip. Yeah, so you have to squeeze them to make it release. So it's easy, much easier with that, Sean. Just FYI.
And you're running foxholes and firefights,
yep.
So you won't be playing it. All right, so no armies upcoming for that. Craig, what are you working on recently?
At the moment, I'm working on my 101st Airborne. So today, I completed all of my infantry squads. So that was 42 soldiers, I think it was. So they're all done. Decals, they got ranks, everything.
Did you put names on it?
I was just going to ask if
not
names
yet.
As well.
I'm going to put names underneath so I know who they are. But and then so I today just started on my medium machine gun teams and my medium mortar teams. The thing I'm doing though is because I'm using the Gamergrass urban bases, I can't paint them on. I mean, what I've done with my infantry, I've painted them on a base, and then I slice them off and then put them on the other base. You can't really do that on a mortar base. You're not going to build the mortar team, paint it, and then have to try and undo it. It does so. And then as well, some of their resin. So they've got some of the semicircular stands that they're on, unlike the plastic infantry. So I've been shaving those off and getting it so you can't see when they will be on the Game of Grass bases. So, but I've put them on individual bases with just a small amount of glue, paint them up, and then I'll cut them off and put them on their base. But they should be done in about a week. And then I've got my airborne Jeep to do. So pretty close to finishing that. And then I'm going to do my Revolutionary Brigade. Something completely different from my bolt action. I've just been doing bolt action for the last 6 months. So I'm going to do Revolutionary Brigade, British Brigade. Actually, it's British Canadian at the Battle of Quebec City. So there's going to be some snow on their bases.
Nice.
A bit of useless trivia. That thing that they're standing on, those resin figures, is officially called a puddle.
Yep.
Paddle or a puddle?
Puddle. Like a body of water, puddle.
Yeah.
A little bit between their feet is called a puddle.
Oh, okay. Well, those puddles are annoying. I've got to cut them off. That's why I don't like them. I don't like the metal ones because they're just even worse.
Oh, they're the hard to get off. That bugs me.
Derek, what are you up to?
Myself, I've been getting really stoked about K-47. Every little bit is just driving me nuts. So I was starting to put a list together for Foxholes and Firefights. I got a rough idea of what I want to do, and now that the book is released on the app, I can fine-tune the list so I can figure that out. But I've been cheating up a little bit. I went back to my old K-47 models, and I have a bunch of Totenkopf, the German zombies. So I was finishing up painting them, and then I broke into my Japanese Ghost Squads, started putting them together. I know they probably won't be there, or they might be changed, or they'll be resin, or whatever the case may be, but I've just been kind of stoked about it, so I just needed something to help, put some flavor in it.
In the articles, they did say that they're compatible.
Yeah, I figured they will be. I can't see them getting rid of it. They don't have a history like other big companies or bigger companies that just kind of erase an entire unit because they want you to buy something else. But I can see
GW, sorry, I had something in my throat.
But that being said, I'm sure they're not the same, or they'll be slightly different, or maybe completely different, but I'm not worried about it at all. That's why I've been kind of jumping from the Germans to the Japanese, and I've got some Russian bears that need painting as well. So I've just been kind of hopscotching through it all, not too worried about nation or a particular list, more just, like I said, getting a little bit of detox so I can get really stoked up.
So what I've been reading is and listening to is that everything in Conflict 47 currently is compatible with the new edition. The only difference is that there'll be either new units that are added that have not been seen before,
Yeah.
or there'll be new models to replace old models.
Yeah.
So if you look at the American Fireflies, there is the original American Fireflies. So if you've got them, you can use them.
But the new ones,
But if you look at the new Fireflies,
better.
the new Fireflies are awesome.
Yeah.
That you're not going to use the old ones, but you can use the old miniature, right?
And I'm sure all of them will eventually be replaced, and I'll eventually replace them too. But like I said, it was just something to do to help, curb the jitters that you're getting when you're stoked for something and you got to wait another month or two before it's all, out and about. So
Apparently as well, you can play in it with a late war bolt action army.
yeah,
You're probably going to get your ass kicked.
Yeah, they
You
said a late war list will be playable. It's just because you don't have any of the Rift Tech stuff, you're going to be playing handicapped. I'm kind of hoping, I know everybody's upset version 3 is making tanks a little bit mandatory, but I'm kind of hoping in K-47 that's also the case, because there was really like they've got all those walkers, and they got a couple of the tanks that have different weapons on them, the Tesla cannons and whatnot. And I'm really hoping that K47 has the same treatment, so that you are incentivized to bring those bigger, cooler models, different models that you just nobody ever played, because just like in version 2 of Bolt Action, vehicles were kind of a detriment. They weren't quite as good as you want, especially the heavier ones that you know, the cooler looking ones. Everybody wanted the light ones and everything else. So yeah, I'm kind of stoked, because I actually I think I own one spline, and that was because it came in a box set, but I don't think I ever put it on the table. I think it's built, partially painted, but so with the new models, that's one thing I'm looking forward to buying, because I don't think they're going to be all metal, which will be nice, because the all metal ones are hard to put together. They don't travel well, because those legs are really spindly with that one small point of contact to keep them on a chassis. So kind of stoked about that, and yeah, that's where my headspace is. My headspace is almost completely K47 right now. So, like a kid in a candy store, I'm looking at all the pictures in the windows, but I can't touch them.
Not yet.
No. It's like Trump at a school party. All right. So with that out of the way and Matt missing, I guess we're just going to say goodbye. Let everybody know that our next episode will be Armies of Great Britain. I'm not sure if we're going to get an advanced copy. We might be reading it as you're looking at it. So we'll find out shortly. And with that, I'll say good day, everybody else. See you later.
Au revoir.
Your last one, Sean. Matt's not here to say bye. That's it.
A little homage here. TTFN.